something for them to ponder and think about. I'll give you that here in just a little bit. So we'll do that on the program today. Now, how do you get involved? Number one, you can call 205-342-9904. That's the number for the program. You can also, if you got a smartphone, an Android, an Apple, computer, laptop, smart tablet, download Tide 100.9, the app. You can get in that way. You can listen, and you can leave us a comment, your thought, or question right there as well. Noah Carter is his name this week. We'll read those for you on the program, and, of course, we always like to comment on that. So we got many ways for you to do that. Hope you're doing well. Good Thursday to all the good folks here on YouTube Extra that we stream live each and every single day. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Really nice here in Columbia, South Carolina. It's very sunny. Gonna get into the 60s. I think tomorrow's Groundhog's Day. I don't know if you believe in that foolishness or not, but I don't know. That's tomorrow. All right. Christian Mills in Tuscaloosa. Noah Carter also in Tuscaloosa behind the glass. Guys, good Thursday to you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're ready to go for the next 2 hours. Got your coffee, you got your caffeine, you got whatever you drink to get your energy up. You ready to roll?
Yeah, just water for me. But yeah, I'm ready to go, man. The sun is out, and the weather's been really nice recently. I mean, we had the little cold front was like a week or two ago, but now it's back to. I mean, I was like sweating in my car on the way over here. So
Christian's wearing shorts today.
Yeah, I know. I've got shorts on. I got the pullover because you always want to say I'm wearing white beaters coming from the gym wearing the tank top. So I got my pullover. So we you ain't got to worry about that there. But no, man, ready to go. I did put for the thumbnail on the YouTube video or the link for the stream. The question you posed at the end of the video. I don't know if you wanted to revisit that about Jalen Milroe and his job, moving forward for this season. So definitely thought that was interesting and wouldn't mind diving into that. But yeah, I'm ready to go. And Thursday is also Stephen M. Smith Day, right? So I'm expecting us to have Stephen M. Smith join us. Excited to get his thoughts on kind of the
1
latest.
1 o'clock.
There we go. Ready to get the latest from him, regarding everything that's going on. Because again, 2 days away from the first big junior day for Coach DeBoer and his staff. So maybe he'll have some updates too in terms of who's expected to be here. Could we hear Coach DeBoer land their first? How do you word this? Their first. When I say true commit, meaning like their first commit from this whole new staff, like from ground zero. Definitely looking forward to that. I know they've got the guys from the transfer portal. I know they got Ryan Williams to recommit, but still haven't necessarily just got a guy from this staff alone just yet. So maybe this will be the weekend. So that could be.
So while we applauding that he's killing on the recruiting trail, like some people say on X.
Well, I mean, I think people are just trying to be as optimistic as possible, which is fine. But I like I said last week, and it's no disrespect. It's just if we're calling a spade, I mean, the class so far, which makes sense. The portal is only open to teams that had a coach leave. So there's very limited guys in the portal right now. We understand that. But the guys we got from the portal they all have Washington ties. They played for Coach DeBoer at Washington. Then Noah Carter was a Washington signee. So those 4 guys right there have Washington ties. And then Ryan Williams was previously committed here. He decommitted, but they did a really nice job of getting him back in the fold, which Coach DeBoer actually gave a lot of credit to guys like Denzel Duvall and Freddie Roach and Jamie Mosley, those guys that maintain that relationship. I don't know if you heard that, but he acknowledged the previous staff that continue those ties. So we talked about, we acknowledge that, but it was nice to hear him say that was really cool. I respect that he was open about that. And but yeah, no. So again, there's nothing wrong with saying that. It's just a fact. We're just laying the facts out there that so far all these commits are like they already had. There's some type of tie to him other than Ryan Williams, right? So no, I wouldn't go as far as saying like killing the recruiting. Now he is killing the recruiting trail in terms of he's definitely on the road. Like every single day he's on the road establishing those relationships. But I think some people are kind of overdoing a little much when they make it seem as if like we just signed like back-to-back star. You know what I mean? Like that wouldn't even make sense. He just got here. You know what I mean? So I think it's all going at the pace that it needs to. It's the best way I could put it. I know you probably say I'm being too nice. I can see the look on your face.
How can you say I got shades on today?
You can still you realize a facial expression is more than just the eyes, right?
I got some weird facial expressions. I'm working on that, because
no.
I don't even know. Somebody be like, "Did you know what kind of?" When somebody said something, your face, man. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, It's just normal. Like
no, it wasn't bad. It just you kind of give me that face, kind of like, dude, just say what you need to say.
Just say what basically what I was wanting to say, because I don't want Tommy from Rome talking about, oh, you get mad and it's anger management radio, but I'm like, just say it, bro. It's like you trying to find a creative way. I just left a great meeting with my pastor friend, Pastor Ed, his new church, and I'm doing the men's ministry there, Giants for Christ Ministries. We got an event coming up April the 12th, but we just got hey man, just say what it is.
Listen, I promise
the truth is welcome. It ain't nothing bad. It's just everybody may not like it, but hey, listen.
Yeah, you're right.
Kalen DeBoer hasn't killed it on a recruiting trail yet. He ain't been here long enough to kill it. I mean, getting your own guys is not killing it. Getting them come here is not killing it. We expect that. I mean, so again, it's all about waiting and seeing, right? He's out and about. He's showing his face. He's meeting people. Because recruiting is relationships, right? And we're going to get into a lot of this. Why? Because recruiting day is, can you believe it? 5 or 6 days away. But it's the second signing day.
Oh, you're talking about the signing day.
Signing day, I call it recruiting day, but signing day is coming up next week. I mean,
so let's ask Steven. That's a great question for him. Like, kind of who's left that
we don't know.
We obviously don't cover recruiting like some of these other folks, but I'm just saying, like, I'm curious, is there any big targets left? Because nowadays, pretty much everybody signs early signing day. Like when I was here, 9 years ago when I got here in 2014, I mean, we had Big Cam, I think Hootie, David Cornwell, Tony Brown.
Hootie Jones.
Yeah, yes, sir. Big Hootie. That's my guy, man. So maybe 5 or 6 guys, right? Out of the class, I'm assuming we had 22 plus, so it's a lot different now. But just real quick, what you said, though, trust me, you know me, outside of this, I'm very straightforward. I'm a straight shooter. I try my best to be as well, because that's what people deserve. Same time, like seeing
you want to go to practice.
No, well, not even just that. They're gonna let me go regardless. No, just the whole Greg McElroy stuff. And like, dude, I feel like sometimes you just have to walk on eggshells, and it is what it is, bro. I just learned, like, 'cause people can take things the wrong way, and even though, so I just try to make sure I go about my presentation or delivery, and I do it in a respectful manner. Because I never intend to be disrespectful. Because that's my biggest thing. You know me, whether I'm talking about players, coaches, whatever. I've been in these guys' shoes. The last thing I want to do is sound like I'm, being disrespectful. Just like we talk about these big string, mainstream, like Stephen A. and all them guys. Not him, Stephen A. Sometimes Shannon, they get a little personal, a little disrespectful. I don't ever want to do that, right? But sometimes when I feel like I'm trying to get the truth out, some of our fans may take
ain't no way else but to do it,
but they take it a certain way if you don't do it the right way. So that's all that is. All I'm
saying,
you
can be positive.
No, and I'm being positive. But again, if you take the blinders off and you're just realistic, like you said, the commitments we have right now, the 3 guys from the portal and the one signee, Noah Carter, who's a hell of a football player. If you go watch his tape, oh wait, is it? I'm mixing the names up because we got this Noah. Yeah, the Noah we just signed, the edge that was from Washington.
Yes, I'm very proud of that.
Noah Carter?
I said no. I think his name actually is Chad. What is his name? Is it Noah Carter? I can't even think right now. But those 4 guys, Washington guys, then Ryan Williams, previous commit. It's no disrespect or no shade. It's just being honest. Like, personally, in my opinion, I think it's way too early to say, like you said, tearing up the recruiting trail, just because that's just not really being straight up, right? Right. If you say that's being a little too optimistic, and there's nothing wrong with that. No, yeah, his name is Noah Carter. Thank you, Sam. But yeah. But again, on the flip side, though, it's too early for anybody to do that. It didn't matter if you hired ace recruiter here. I mean, Coach DeBoer has been here what now? Today's February 1st. I mean, it's
a couple weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks. I mean, who would expect him to be landing recruits left and right? I mean,
the reality is we have Nick Saban guys still. We still got. Right. These are the guys, most of them, 90% of them are his guys, right? And now, the 24 class is already there pretty much.
Right.
A couple guys like Junior saying.
It's too late.
Yes, he transferred out, maybe a couple guys, but the majority of the guys, this is still Nick Saban's team. Right. This is not Kalen DeBoer's team.
Which is a much better team than he's used to having.
Right, which is he's coming in here probably going like, "Dang, gum, boy, I'm loaded." Yeah. Right? So he mad. So he might be saying, "I don't need that much."
Right.
So we know that recruiting is about relationships. But I do want to talk a lot about recruiting today. I want to talk a lot, especially this hour. I want to talk a lot about NIL with Tennessee up under the gun, NCAA. Went at Tennessee, who we know has a lot of money with the collectives. Now Tennessee has turned around and fired back. It's suing a lawsuit against the NCAA. Where is that going to go? I can tell you it's not going to go anywhere. And nothing's going to happen with that situation. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, what these guys that are at the Senior Bowl. We got 3 guys there at Alabama. Will Reichert, of course, we got Chris Braswell. We got Boingby. Those boys down there getting at it. We'll talk about that. What does that all mean? How it all works? Does it help them, hurt them, blah, 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 blah. We'll get into some of that conversation as well. And then I'm going to ask a question because I do want to get on the Miro thing because I yesterday was like, man, I had a revelation. I had a revelation that after you said what you said and sent me that article on Austin Mack, and then you sent me about what Coach had said to Ryan Williams, the 5-star plus, I had a revelation. They're going to try to get my boy. I'm going to talk about it in these types of language, in this type of language. They're going to try to do my dude. What am I saying? I don't think Kalen DeBoer wants Jalen Milroe to be the quarterback. I think he has his eyes on something else. I said when they went and brought his guy, since we talked about recruiting, Austin Mack, I think he feels a lot about Austin Mack. I heard him even yesterday. I don't know if you caught the tone. Kalen DeBoer's demeanor and his strength in his voice when he mentioned Austin Mack.
He's high
and the
on
work ethic, huh?
I said he's high on him for sure.
Yeah, and the work ethic and how quickly he picked up the offense. Let's break that down. Noah, let's get a break right quick. And when I come back, let's break this down because maybe you can find that for me, Noah Carter, not the recruit. Maybe you can find that piece where he talks about Austin Mack that I sent. Because that demeanor was very strong. And I can tell you from a coach that really feels good about it, he ain't flex one bit. He didn't stutter. He's like, Austin Mack? Oh, yeah. Oh! All right. Boy, I can't wait. You know what it's not about? Is Jalen Milroe in trouble? Here's your question from the fans. Is Jalen Milroe in trouble? Will he play the game in the spring? Or will it be Austin Mack who knows the offense? This guy knows the offense. He ain't learning nothing. He knows it. Is he going to teach Jalen Milroe? Because he's going to be ahead of Jalen Milroe. Is Link. Let them all know. Let them all know. I'm about to let you know after this break. I think my man, the one I drive the train for, might be a little bit of trouble. You listen to those Edge on Tide 100.9 12:30 a.m. WTBC. We'll discuss. You think I'm right? You feeling me on this one? Austin Mack will be the starting quarterback for the Tide. Will it be Jalen Milroe? Discuss. On the flip, back in the morning.
All right, we posed that question, so I want to hear you guys' thoughts on that. And again, this is all fun. We're just having fun. It's that time of the year, man. You got to have fun topics to talk about. But that is true. I mean, if you kind of hear the demeanor and just kind of how high Coach DeBoer is on Austin Mack, it makes you wonder if there is more of a quarterback battle brewing. I'll give my thoughts on it coming up, but definitely something to talk about. Let's see who's all in here. If you guys haven't already, if you could, man, like the stream. That always helps us out. We'd appreciate it. If you're new, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date. We appreciate everybody that hangs out with us on here, listens on the radio, on the app, all that good stuff. So appreciate you guys.
Joey, what's going on, man? Krim, what's up? Good afternoon. Sam's here. G-Man's here. Let's see. Jeff, what's going on, man? Let's get to some of these questions here. Jeff said, just wondering, Christian, do any of the recruits or potential candidates ever reach out to you about the Bama standard or legacy, or just what to expect as a new player for Alabama? Yeah, occasionally some guys do, or if I'm ever here, like up on campus, or I'm in the workout room at the complex, sometimes I run into guys. But Keon Keeley was a guy recently that reached out to me, kind of sent me a message that he grew up watching me, which is crazy because I don't think I'm that old, but just kind of wanted to pick my brain about my experiences here, what to expect. And I thought that was smart on his part, man. Ask the guys that have done it before, right? Kind of get a true idea kind of what to expect. All right, here we go.
Darius Rucker, who did the Blowfish Carolyn's boy? That song called "I Only Want to Be with You." That's Coach DeBoer. That's what he was saying. Austin back. You and me, Austin, we come from different worlds. Also, you like to laugh at me when I look at Bama girls. Sometimes I'm crazy, and you wonder why. I'm such a baby. Austin Mack made me cry, but there's nothing I can do. I only want to be with you. So that's what we're discussing right there. I believe right now that Caleb DeBoer wants to be with Austin Mack. He wants him to be the next quarterback. He said himself, shoot, the 5-star. Mr. Ryan, you and Austin Mack are going to play Frisbee catching dogs for a long time. And here's what Coach had to say just yesterday about Austin Mack.
Well, I think his skill set and all the tools he brings as a quarterback, the arm talent, but I also just think he's got a really great head on his shoulders. He's young, and for him to do what he did this last year with us, he reclassified and really learned the offense as fast as anyone I've ever seen at that age. And so, he's got to just continue to grow, continue to develop. And I know he's all about those challenges. He sees them as opportunities, and it was exciting for him as well as us to have him come down here.
I only want to be with you. So you see, do y'all feel me there? I mean, listen, when this happened, I went off, right? I was like, the quarterback room in Alabama is full. They don't need Austin Mack, right? They had Julian saying they're the overall #1 quarterback in this year's class. You had Ty Simpson. You still got Lonergan, who may play baseball, but man, you both are high on this kid. He can play. And then you got the returning. A guy that you wouldn't have been a playoff team had it not been for Jalen. You wouldn't have won the SEC West. You wouldn't have won the SEC had it not been for Jalen Milroe. But something in my gut feel like Austin Mack, and they might be a breakup. I don't know why, Christian, but I just feel like because this kid, you heard what he just said? He loves his kid. And he brought him here with a full quarterback room. That should tell you everything right there. That should tell you everything. And if Jalen Milroe slips any kind of way, and this guy who knows all the calls, because what a lot of guys don't understand, that verbiage is huge when it comes about football. The lingo, the verbiage, and all of this stuff. I mean, Milroe's got to learn all this over again, right? He just learned Tommy Rees's offense. Now you got to flip the script. This is the third offensive coordinator in 3 years. Think about this. This is Jalen Milroe's third offensive coordinator in 3 years.
Yep.
Austin Mack, they're getting ready to flip the script. Now, real quickly, here's what Coach also had to say about Milroe learning the system and getting acquainted to this new offense that was at Washington, now in Alabama. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, from a staff standpoint, we're really looking forward to next week to being around our guys and spending a lot of time with the team, back on campus. But those that have come with us from Washington, there's certainly an understanding of, even the system, and what certain concepts are called and how we teach them. So hopefully back on campus, they're picking up on those things. Jalen with, Austin, and as well as, having a center like Parker there knows all the calls, and we can hit the ground running here next week when it comes to installing offensive and defensive systems.
Okay. Do y'all see the difference in the answer? Hopefully. Hopefully, maybe. And then the buildup of Austin and the center both knowing all when I talked about the verbiage and the calls. There you go. Christian, what we said changed?
In my opinion, no. To me, it sounds like, Austin Mackey thinks really highly of the kid. I mean, he recruited him. He enrolled at Washington early again. He reclassified. He was supposed to be a senior in high school last season, right? Instead, he enrolls at Washington. He gets to basically emulate Michael Penix every single day. He learns the system. They have a tight relationship. So, but again, he mentioned that. He referenced his youth when he talked about Austin Mack. I think he looks at Austin Mack as a guy that, because he did also say in the what do you want to call it? In the meeting when he met with Ryan Williams and Austin Mack, he said when Jalen Milroe leaves or when he graduates or whatever the term was, he said, you guys will be the face of the program. I don't think it's so much about Jalen Milroe. Now, I do believe that there's going to be expectations for Jalen Milroe to kind of get up to speed with this probably as soon as possible, right? But, I mean, look, we're talking about a guy, and I know I don't need to sell you on Milroe. You've been sold since day one, and a lot of these people that now love Jalen Milroe are probably quite the opposite, about a year ago or so. But anyway, Jalen Milroe is a guy that passed for over 2,800 yards, 23 passing touchdowns, over 500 yards rushing, 12 rushing touchdowns. And like you said, I mean, he's a leader. He kept them in games. He did a lot of magnificent things as a quarterback here. And you talk about potential, elite athleticism, right? I think they understand that Jalen Milroe is special. He might be a little bit different than what they're accustomed to. But I also went back and watched when I was watching some Indiana tape from 2019, because, again, that staff consisted of DeBoer, I believe, was offensive coordinator that year, and Kane Womack was the defensive coordinator. If you watch some of that tape, their quarterback, can't remember his name, but obviously not nearly the athlete Jalen Milroe was, but he moved around a little bit. I saw a couple design quarterback runs here and there. So what I'm getting at is I honestly still believe they're going to have their system. They brought Austin Mack in here because they believe in him and his ability. However, I think they're still looking probably towards the future with that. Because, again, technically this season, even though it's the second year in college, it's supposed to be his first. He's still young. That being said, I would not be shocked if it was a situation where it's like Jalen Milroe's their guy, right? They're going with Jalen Milroe. However, kind of similar to last season, I wouldn't be shocked if there's kind of like that leash, right? I hate using that term. That doesn't sound great, but you know what I mean? Like, he's kind of on a short leash in terms of, look, they're going with him, but if we see some struggles here in terms of, processing their offense, being able to operate in their offense, run it the way it needs to be ran, I would not be shocked if we see a guy like Austin Mack kind of creeping up on us. I mean, we could even see people forget about Ty Simpson now that Austin Mack came in, but I also agree with you that the way he speaks about Austin Mack, I think if there's going to be a next guy up, I'd probably put my money on a guy like Austin Mack. However, I don't know, but I do believe that it's Jalen Milroe's job to lose, but he definitely is high on this kid. But I mean, again, you got to think about it. Coaches talk about kids like that, especially ones that they, really know. I think he's still getting to know guys. You got to think, I mean, this, Coach DeBoer is on the recruiting trail, like probably majority of the week. At least I feel like every day I'm seeing pictures of him in, whether it's been Georgia, Florida, Mississippi. I mean, he's all over, right? I mean, he probably still getting to know these guys. But I mean, look, man, and I know that coaches, the best coaches, are going to put their best players in position to succeed. I'm hoping that they try to do that with Jalen Milroe. I expect them to try to do that. And again, I think it really just boils down to, can Jalen Milroe, and I'll shut up and get back to you, can he adapt to this new system, right? I mean, we saw how he kind of went from Bill O'Brien to Tommy Rees, right? He was able to. They adapted to him. They made things a little bit more tailored to him, and we saw the success there. But how will he adapt to this new system? How quickly can he adapt to this new system? Like you said, it's more than just can he fit in it. when you talk about verbiage terminology, especially on offense, like, yeah, a lot of things are similar, like route trees or, patterns and all type of stuff, right? But again, when you're learning a whole new system, even though a lot of things are similar with different terms, I mean, it's almost like learning a new language sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think this spring will be huge. I don't think it's a tell-all, though. I think fall camp is really, because I think fall camp, look, spring, they're going to understand he's still learning. There's no way that he's going to have everything down pat by spring, right? They start early, like in like a month, I think about like a month away. There's no way you're going to learn a whole new system in a month, right? And then you got maybe another, you got 15 practices, I think, during spring. It's not
They got a little
realistic.
longer than a month, I believe, because today's just February 1. So
Yeah,
I think they got a little bit longer. But my point is that verbiage, everything. But again, you're going to teach the foundation of your offense, right? So he's going to come in and teach what he, we call the install. They're going to teach the offensive install, right? But the question is going to be, okay, when you see Jalen Miro, they don't watch the tape. I know they've been recruiting, but they got the iPads and everything else. They got what and who Jalen Miro is. They know he's not Michael Penix Jr.
right.
He's not Austin Mack. I mean, he is a phenomenal. He can throw the football. He's a great throw the football when he's on the move. So, will he do what he said? His words, not mine. I will adjust my offense to fit the talent that's around me. Those are Kalen DeBoer words. So already Jalen Milroe isn't what you've been used to coaching, right? So hopefully you improvise and hopefully you instill and get out that sharp number 2 pencil, baby, and draw up some stuff that makes Jalen Milroe be that dude. But if you're in love with the other thing over here, the one that you brought from the Pacific Northwest, in my opinion, had no reason to be here. You had the number 1 quarterback, but as I thought about it, I'm like, dude, you let that just walk out the door? If you just let that walk out the door, you better have some smoke. And basically what you're telling me without me saying it is also that smoke. So think about that, folks. KJ, you're coming right up. Time out, we'll get right to your thoughts. And everybody has a lot of comments on YouTube extra. You're coming on Tide 100.9 as well.
Hey, Frank, looks like business is.
Genevieve with the super chat. Appreciate you, Genevieve. Hope all is well. I'll make sure we get to this when we come up on air. But thank you so much for the super chat. Could this be another Tommy Rees and Tyler Buckner situation for Milroe? You mean like how Tommy Rees came in and brought his guy, so he had to kind of fight him off? Yeah, that's a really good question. Honestly, I mean, it kind of feels familiar to that. I guess the difference is Austin Mack's still young. He hadn't necessarily played. Tyler Buckner at least had the experience where I think that kind of gave them a reason to, really put him in. Okay, yeah, that's what you mean. Yeah, let me say that for that. That's a really good question. But thank you so much for the super chat. It's a great point. A really good point. Jeff says his legs are way too valuable to sit. I agree, man. I mean, he's too much of a weapon to not have on the football field. I think it's just a matter of how quickly he can adapt to this offense, because it is going to be different. And if I'm being honest with you, I mean, where he tends to struggle is kind of going through his reads quick enough and processing things. Again, not saying he can't do it, just where he's at in his development. He has to be quicker. His timing has to be quicker, and he's got to trust what he's seeing, right? That's important in an offense like this, where they're really trying to drive the football downfield, right? I mean, you see a guy like Michael Penix, right? A lot of those throws he was making, and they set it up nicely too. Don't get me wrong. They run a lot of screens, a lot of quick game to kind of set these things up, get their quarterback in rhythm. But a lot of those throws Michael Penix was making required him to be confident, right? Throwing guys open, throwing, in the tight windows, right? And I'm not saying Jalen can't do that, because I've seen him do it. He definitely can. Saw him do it against A&M some. But it's a matter of really trusting that, right? I think sometimes Jalen was just being real defensive because he didn't want to turn the ball over.
Jose, there's the addition that's out KJ down in the ATL. I think Usher and all them boys on that end. They're not Darius Ruffin. They're cool with me. KJ, welcome in.
What's going on, guys? How's it going?
What's up, man?
Good, KJ.
Ursher, baby, Ursher.
Kristen, man, thank you so much because your dad reminds me of my granddad so much, man. Like when he has his point, he has on blinders, and whatever his point is, he's kind of locked into it, and he doesn't. You can hit him with, well, what about this fact? And Corey be like, yeah, I'm not hearing that. Yeah, no, what about this? Like, I'm glad that you brought up the point about when he said in the article, and that was actually Ryan Williams, receiver coach, that had that quote or whatever, where he said that once Jalen Milroe graduates.
Yeah.
So they automatically are already letting them know, look, we're trying to work with Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Jalen Milroe is 100%. Like y'all said, I think everyone has a leash, every position, because this is a brand new coaching staff.
Yep.
But for us to sit here and act like poor Jalen Milroe, if y'all are doing that in YouTube comments, don't do that, because Jalen Milroe got options. Trust me. If they come around playing in spring, even joking around with Austin Mack, trust me, Jalen Milroe won't be here. He got options.
Whoa.
Other places, and that's just,
you're not wrong.
I don't think that's the breaking news. I think that everybody knows that every Alabama player Nick Saban had, they got options. Everyone's after them.
That's fair.
I ain't disagree with that. And Jalen Milroe would be like, boy, you talking about pulling up the money truck.
And then you talked about 3 offensive coordinators. It just, history repeats itself so weird, man. It's so weird because Jalen Hurts had 3 offensive coordinators. They're both from Houston, Texas. It's just so weird how history sometimes repeats itself.
So if that's the case, that means Jalen Milroe is going to go to Texas or Ole Miss. He's going to go to the Super Bowl in a few years, and then
he's going to go to Michigan. Go to Michigan and then go to. No, I'm just kidding, y'all. I don't.
Well, no, he's going to be Lane Kiffin will be like Lane had that plane right here. He'll probably land that plane on 12th Street.
Here we go with the Lane Kiffin talk.
Lane, one guy that knows how to use a Jalen Milroe is Lane Kiffin.
But I think that's a discredit to the board too as well. Like to me, I get it, right? That wasn't the hire that you wanted. But to me, it's kind of like you're knocking him a little bit at his ease a lot, because every place that he's been, when you go back and you look at his record, and I'm not KJ.
For the record, I'm not counting NAIA.
I'm not counting that. I'm talking about from being an offensive coordinator. He worked with the talent that he had, man. How
many years has he been a head coach?
I watched film all the way from Eastern Michigan, man. Like, the man worked with talent that he had. So I feel like you're not giving him credit for that.
How long has he been a head coach?
Yeah. How long has he's accomplished more than Lane Kiffin had as a head coach? Can you debate that?
So he's been a head coach since 2020. He got the first head coach. Excuse me. If you're talking about on this, so Sioux Falls he was a head coach, but that was back in 2005.
Yeah, 2020 he was a head coach.
Yeah, so 2020 he got the head coaching job at Fresno State, and they had the season was cut short due to COVID, but they were 3-3 before that. Then 21 they went 9-3, and then that's when he got hired at Washington. Yep, in 2022 first season they went 11-2 after beating Texas in the Alamo Bowl, and then in 2023 we all know how that went. So. Yeah, definitely not the longest tenured head coach, but nonetheless, definitely successful when he has been one.
But the thing that I called in honestly about was the recruiting thing, because I agree with you guys that you can't. I don't be listening to trolls and stuff like that. I don't know if trolls are saying it or people that are sunshine pumpers for articles. I still give him credit for Ryan Williams. Only 50-50, you can give him 50-50 or whatever. You got to give him some credit.
Yeah.
Ryan Williams started tweeting like Debo era and stuff like that. Ryan Williams have people excited about this guy. So I got to give him credit for that.
For sure. Yeah, no, and I'm like you. That's why I would even say, I would say about 50-50, maybe 60-40. I mean, but just because he was previously committed, but I definitely give him credit because look, he's still. Ryan Williams could have gone anywhere else after he decommitted, but he chose to come back here. I know that he loves Alabama and he's from here, but still though he definitely could have gone somewhere else, especially with NIL right now on a player to his caliber. I mean, trust me, people were throwing the bag at him. But Coach DeBoer and this stuff.
Oh yeah, how much he's putting into the recruiting efforts. Like I've seen recruiting hires every other day now.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about what positions that we already had. Like it's like he's getting recruiting coordinators instead of analysts. So
yeah, no, and he is strategic. That's a good point. He's very strategic with the recruiting coordinators and people that he's hiring in terms of that department. I mean, you look at the guy recently, Jatavis, I think was a coach over in Georgia. He's going to have a lot of ties. I think Norcross High School, a guy like Adrian Hubbard came from there. That's going to be very important, right? I mean, so the hires that he's making, all of them, make sense. They're with reason because they have those ties. So I'll see people like, see, y'all, he can recruit the South. I'm like, nobody said he couldn't. You had to take the right steps, and these are the steps that he's taking. There's a reason he's making these hires. So he's doing all the right things right now.
He's doing exactly. He's doing the right things. Like we're going to hold him to a high standard. I'm going to hold him to a high standard still. But
wait a minute. Are you really, KJ?
Absolutely. I'm not going to knock him every knee like you on every decision. I'm gonna hold him to a high standard.
Okay, I'm holding that receipt, bro.
Yeah, trust me. I'm gonna hold him to, and don't be like, oh, now look, KJ say fire him now. Like, oh yeah. So I brought up the Courtney Morgan thing on the app message. I'm glad that you brought that.
Hey, well, I'll say this real quick. I think what would be fair is to see how the 2025 class comes along because 2024 is too late. Right? I mean, he just got here. I mean, there's very little that.
That's the number 2 class in the country.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's not really going to have any impact. Like, everybody's pretty much signed right there, right? We'll see how these are the metrics I'm looking at. When the transfer portal opens up in April, that'll be one test. How he works the portal, and then the real test to see how recruiting is really going to look under this new staff is 2025 We'll get to see more of that
with Junior Day.
Yeah, and he's starting that this weekend.
I've heard 35 people already for Junior Day.
Yep.
So the man's putting in work.
Come on, KJ. See, that's what I'm talking about right here. Now you said that 35 people, like that ain't nothing. That's Alabama, bro. They gonna get that. I mean, come on now.
But if he didn't get it, but wait, hold on, right there.
He was gonna get it regardless.
If he didn't get it, you would hold his head to a stick, and you would.
That's true.
Right. Should not I hold his head to the fire? Because if he don't get it, this is still Alabama. Do we forget this?
The A still holds weight for sure. He even said that though. He said, I mean, everywhere he goes, like he realizes how much this brand means.
I don't think we're judging this right on the right scale. You're judging this on the scale of Alabama Nick Saban scale. I'm judging this on the scale of Nick Saban's no longer here anymore, and what everyone thought it would look like when Nick Saban wasn't here. That's what I'm judging this on.
It's a good point.
Well, but KJ, you are replacing the GOAT. You're replacing a standard. Okay. And if the standard doesn't hold up, then you got to be, hey, it is what it is. That's part of replacing. That's why a lot of guys, now what I do give him credit for, that he wasn't afraid to take the job, because you're going to be held up to a high standard. I hold him up to a high standard. I do.
Give Lane Kiffin the excuse if he failed and be like, well, he replaced Nick Saban.
Yeah, but Lane Kiffin has been around. Lane Kiffin not gonna fail because he has more experience here in this part of the country.
How do you know what he's?
Because what he's doing right now, and he's in this conference, and he's kicking tail right now in recruiting.
Okay.
I mean, you got to give him credit. I mean, you may not like him, and you said hide your wives and children, whatever you said before with Lane Kiffin. But the thing is, the dude can coach ball. We can't deny that. And the fact that he's in the SEC, I'm a SEC homer to the point where I put that conference of playing football way high. I put the Pac-12 down with the ACC, which I have zero respect for.
It's kind of crazy that Kalen has accomplished more. He's already went to the playoff he's already accomplished more than what Lane Kiffin has accomplished in his
in the Pac-12
as a head coach.
But I don't like that argument though, because Lane Kiffin once coached in the Pac-12.
Right.
Right. So
He got fired from a Pac-12.
So okay, so I don't think that's a
But
fair
Lane
argument.
Kiffin is a different man. Lane Kiffin was young, man. Lane Kiffin
No,
is different.
man, dude, come on, man. I'm just saying, look,
You know Lane. Lane changed since the whole Nick Saban thing.
100%.
True or false?
He has. He's way more mature. All KJ is saying is I feel sometimes it's like you're holding to almost like an unreal standard where it's like
I put more credence in somebody that's coaching the SEC versus the Pac-12 and done it pretty solid. Yes. Do I put more weight into that? Absolutely.
That's fair, but again, we're still
what's wrong with that?
It's not like anybody's right or wrong. There's nothing wrong with that.
Has accomplished more.
And KJ himself will be sitting here ridiculing Kiki and Ha the Pac-12 had not Kalen DeBoer been in Alabama.
Oh, wouldn't it?
True or false?
I don't think I would.
Tell me you haven't put down the Pac-12. If Kalen DeBoer would not have been here in Alabama, you would be in concert, amen to me and hallelujah. Yes, you would.
Nah, I disagree with that one.
So you think the Pac-12 now is a good conference?
I don't understand why it's a debate against the Pac-12. I'm looking at what did he do
level of competition.
What did he do against Stark? Who's going to be in the SEC? Take us out.
Okay. What did he do against Michigan in the biggest stage? A team that mimics the SEC team with great defense, physical line play, and running the football.
What is the greatest coach?
Well, they should have won the game. They had them beat in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes. Yeah, they lost, but it was respectable. His team got blown out. They didn't compete.
His team took L because they didn't have talent to play.
No. His team got their A kicked.
Yeah, less talent, and he still beat Texas.
Oh, here we go now. Now you want to applaud him. He done more with less talent. Now he got less talent.
See, it's not applauding. I think it's just like you're overlooking that. It's not nobody's applauding it. Like
I'm telling you the fact, he got his A kicked when he played a team like Michigan, Jim Harbaugh, that looks like an SEC team that's built like an SEC. By the way, Jim Harbaugh got his butt kicked by Georgia a few years back when he talked about the trenches and how that was the difference between the Big Ten and the SEC is that their line play, right? You remember that? They got embarrassed. He changed the dynamics of their football team. Now they're national champions. That team looked like an SEC team. I'm just saying, we talked about Kalen DeBoer and Washington, but when he played a team that mimicked that, they lost 34-13.
No,
Bama lost 2.
Well, what about Texas, though? They beat Texas, who was very physical, who dominated us up front in the trenches. Texas kicked our butt at home. I hate to even say like that, but I'm going to use it in this situation. Texas went and they beat us in the trenches.
That was a good win. That's a good win.
Texas was a physical team. They out-physicaled us in our home
stadium.
They
weren't Michigan, though. They weren't Michigan.
Okay, but I'm just saying, the same team that out-physicaled us, Coach DeBoer and Washington went and beat them. So
man, our offensive line was boo-boo. Let's just be honest. Bama's offensive line was boo-boo.
They were not great. They were not great. Pass pro, we were very arguably last in the country.
Like, what does it got to do with it? I don't get that. I don't know, man.
We was ranked 139 out of 141 with offensive percentage of giving us sacks.
Yeah.
Corey, I'm going to be honest. The more you take off a lane, I'm going to have to take off a man head coach, man. Because it seems like
it ain't about taking up for him. I think the man's going to be successful. But I think y'all are just overlooking how much difficulty he's going to face in this conference.
At all. I know. You don't think he knows that. I don't think that's not something that fans don't know.
He's KJ. I don't know if you heard, but he said it at the Senior Bowl. They said, "Do you see a difference between SEC football?" And he paused because he knew what he wanted to say because he ended up saying it. He said, "Yeah, I think there's a difference," and then he tried to.
He think that there's a difference.
No, did you not hear what I just said? He can't say that. He can't go there. Yeah, he can't disrespect all his kids that he just left.
You've already disrespected him. He left him.
Oh my! And just like every other coach that leaves disrespects him, like that's what I'm saying. Like, come on,
absolutely.
Man.
Coaches they all do it.
I don't think Kalen DeBoer can win over this one here until he wins on the field. So
that's all I'm saying. What's wrong with that? Am I wrong in saying that? He got to show me the money.
I mean, but
you watched that movie, Jerry Maguire? You remember he told that agent, "You can talk, but show me the money."
But you're telling
I don't get caught up. Don't tell me you want a press conference. Show me the money. And when you show me the money, I can ride.
I remember Lane getting blown out last year by Georgia, but we ain't talking about that one.
Yeah, but
he got what?
Yeah, but he got beat by a team that arguably the best team in the country, probably didn't get a chance to play in the tournament. To be honest with you.
You got to show grace, man. Come on. What's church you go to? We got to get them to open up grace.
You know the definition of grace?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
Grace, man. God's grace.
No, what's the definition of it?
God's favor upon my life.
No, it's not.
That
See,
I-
that you don't even know it. It's called unmerited faith, meaning that you don't deserve it, but I'm gonna give it to you anyway. I'm gonna give you man grace. I'm just gotta wait and see before I sit here and do the dog and pony thing. That's all I'm saying.
And what we're saying is there's nothing wrong with waiting to see. I think everybody's waiting to see.
No, they're not.
Not everybody, but I think I was about to say, but I think it's always like it's like back in.
We got to get Thomas from us. KJ, I love you, bro. That's great.
I love you, man. Y'all easy, man.
Yes,
All right, brother. I love to argue with you. All right, we got Thomas from Romulus and others on the phone call too. I think for $2.99. Don't forget that tide at 9. And Stephen M. Smith for Ask Him. You know he's on get on the board train. So I ask him at 1 o'clock hour. We'll be back.
Oh man, see, he's falling back down the rabbit hole, guys. We got to reel him back in. Rusty said, "I can't listen to this show anymore. The old man ain't the head coach making $10 million a year, but he thinks he could be a better coach." Well, to be fair, man, I mean he's got a plethora of experience with football. So I mean he knows. Oh, nice new promo displayed. Look, he's just gonna tell it how he sees it. I just laugh at it now because I don't think he don't really understand like what we're saying. I mean, hell, even though I'm super supportive, I also might wait and see. I'm not. Look, I know football, right? Nobody's just going to get hired in the SEC and they just expect, and you just expect them just to come run the table, man. Like I played in this conference 5 years, man. I mean, every week was a challenge, even with head coach Nick Saban leading us, right? So I'm not just gullible, but at the same time, though, I'm going to give respect and credit where it's due. Even like I agree with them that Pac-12 was not impressive. But at the same time, though, when he did play out of conference, right, whether it was Texas, they held their own with arguably less talent, right? To me, I throw that in the equation. Like I said, my dad's entitled to his opinion. Like, I mean, he played ball a long time, so he knows football. He's just gonna see it his way. But he's like that with everything, man. Pops is old school. Some people don't like keeping it real. Yeah, that's what it is, man. He's just actions speak louder than words, which I'm the same way. But at the same time, I think he comes off like basically like I don't believe it until I see it, more so than like, this is why it can go well, right? He's just kind of like, till I see it. But he's not wrong, though. I mean, the standard here really is. I mean, it is different. I mean, as a former player, I mean, that's one of my biggest concerns. I pray that we continue to uphold that standard. And I'm not just saying wins and losses. Obviously, that's a huge piece of it. But I just mean like the Alabama way. I mean, like the success for guys in the league, on and off the field, straight dominance, right? So I definitely, that's something I'm praying we're able to somehow continue.
Give us his sermon, how much he loves head coach getting the ball, not just mad, and whatever else. Alec, happy Thursday, buddy.
Hey, how are y'all?
Doing great.
I thought you preach every day.
I do.
Okay, I'm just checking. I'm like, it sounded like you were taking a moment off. I'm like, we're just gonna have to wait and see. I mean, the quarterback situation. I'm gonna say this. I think Jalen's the number one man after spring training. He might not, and he might leave, but I don't think so. I'm wrong all the time, so I mean that's just my gut feeling. I mean, my gut was right half the time. I'd be a rich man, but we won't talk about betting. We're just gonna have to see what he do. We got through all the noise before that he was gonna lose the whole recruiting class and all this and that, and he didn't. And you're right. Is Nick Saban recruiting class? But guess what? It's going to be Taylor DeBoer football team, and they're going to be playing for him. Nick Saban is now retired, and how am I going to say this without getting the fan base fired up? Nick Saban is history. He's now on the golf court down in Florida, playing with folks. He's going to come back and help the program, but Taylor he's going to have to give it done.
Yeah.
Just like we discussed yesterday, he was going to shake hands with the former Alabama players and brag on them, and he was going to do the same thing with Washington. We're going to have number 1 draft picks in both schools, and nothing going to change. As head coach of Alabama and all this, and some of these players are going to have to get ready for the SEC. You're right there.
Yeah.
But if you're an All-American center, I know it's going to be a lot tougher in the SEC, but we're going to find out if he really was All-American this fall.
Yeah, and that's true. And that's why, and it's like that. Look, this is how I look at it, right? And I think what my dad's trying to say about the difference with the Pac-12 is the path to get there is much, much, much more difficult, right? Especially when you look at Alabama's schedule this year. I think that's what he's trying to get at. My only argument is, well, when they did play a team like Texas, who, again, I hate to say it, but it's true, though. If we're going to be real on this show, Texas came into our house and they beat us at our own game. They were more physical than us, right? And that was obviously wasn't our best game. Still was early. We still were going through growing pains, trying to iron everything out. We all know that. But at the same time, that same team that beat us, his Washington team went and beat them, and they had arguably a lot less talent. So I think there's just a lot of metrics. You can look at analytics. You can look at all types of things. But at the end of the day, it's like you said, wait and see. But again, when you look at the schedule, getting to that point is going to be much greater here in the SEC. It's just a fact, right? The football down here is different. Teams are better. You're going against Sharks in recruiting. It's going to be tough. But again, I think he's a very talented, coach with what he does. And we'll just see how he adapts to this new challenge. That's really all you can say there. But so if you had to put your money on it, you still got Jalen Milroe being the guy this upcoming fall, right, Tommy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just he won the team over, and that's about 90% of the battle, in my opinion. I didn't play college sports. Y'all both can tell me I'm wrong. I'll be fine, as y'all know. But I think that's between 85 and 90% of the battle.
Yeah, that is huge.
Team.
For sure.
Being a leader.
You said winning the team?
Over, yes, sir.
No, I think he's done that. If you hear some of the responses, listen.
No, that's what he's saying.
No, I agree. I totally agree. I'm saying he's going to have a team that still has a lot left in the cupboard. He's going to have a team that has weapons, right? He's going to have a team that probably do a lot of things better than what he had at Washington. Now, what he's got to fix is the offensive line. They won 39 to 141 because the pass protection is horrific, right? You got the center transferred to Ohio State. You got the tackle transferred back to Iowa. You got Lathan, who's now in the National Football League or getting ready for the league. So now you got 2 guards from that offensive line. People will say that's two of the better players, right? Now you build around. Now you bring your center, who's undersized. We'll see. But I would ask you, and again, I try to look at the whole thing. Go watch the Michigan game and see how the center performed against what he's going to probably see most weeks in the SEC, right? The physicality of the defensive lineman. Go watch that. I think that'll give you pretty much a pretty good answer.
To be fair, I watched him against Texas, who has some really good defensive tackles, and he did well, right? I thought he actually held it.
No, I said go watch Michigan.
And I'm just telling you, can also go watch Texas because that's another metric. I don't just go off of one thing, right? When you look at things, I think it's fair to look at, right, a collection of different things, right? Not just one thing. That's not
I'm just
fair.
saying Michigan just because I thought Michigan defensive line looked more like SEC than even Texas had good tackles. Texas had good tackles. Texas, we made Alabama made Texas defensive ends look like they were all world players, and they weren't.
Oh no, I agree with that.
I mean,
but
Texas
you're
had good
talking about a
interior
center. You're talking
linemen,
about
but they didn't
center and
have good
guards right now.
ends.
But you're talking about center and guards right now. And
So,
Texas,
I know
Texas
that.
has arguably one of the best defensive tackles in the country.
True. So
Didn't have the best line coach for both.
that's true. Alabama
I
doesn't have
mean,
anybody.
to be twice by them. It's just a wait and see. I mean, I'm just
It ain't no.
excited about
There's
what's
nothing we're
going
gonna
to
be able to
happen.
learn. I mean, I'm gonna have my reservations. That's just it. People trying to change me. And like, well, you're not looking. Don't matter. I know what I look at. And like I said, we're gonna be the first one to eat crow. And say I was wrong about whatever I said. If I'm wrong, and I hope that I am wrong. Right? That's all. I hope that I am. Because I want the best out of them.
I think the biggest thing is, but when we bring up points that are very fair points that probably should be considered, you shoot them down. That's something what confuses me. You don't accept those.
Well, I don't think y'all points that good on them.
How is it not? But it's a fact. I mean, if you say something that's a fact, it's a fact, right? That they beat Texas. That's not. That's a fact.
Well, hey, Tommy, real quick before I let you go, Alabama baseball coach Brad Bohannon gets a 15-minute show call from the NCAA as part of his punishment after he was linked to the sports better who waged on the Alabama baseball game last spring. NCAA announced this on today. But it gets worse. Alabama's baseball program was placed on 3 years NCAA probation, and the school has been fined a whopping $5,000. I might have that in my back pocket. How much are us? One of the ones there. So, Alabama baseball gets a little hand slap on what Bohannon did. I'm sure I gotta tell Tom. I know he's a big baseball fan.
Well, maybe the Alabama Attorney General should be NCAA like Tennessee and Virginia. I don't know.
They should be, because they were losing.
Yeah, I mean, you need something because he sat there with. I'm like, you're back. No, I'm like, oh my God.
Battle. We got to get our Stephen Smith. Wait, no, we got to hit a break. And I appreciate you as always, my friend. All right, starting from there. We're talking about Stephen M., the Master Smith, coming up.
One hour down, guys. If you haven't already, make sure you like the stream. We'd appreciate that. And subscribe if you haven't, man. Got to join the team, man. Got big things coming up this year. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, look, there's more in that Texas game, right? Not just penalties, but turnovers, right? That obviously was huge in that game. But I'm just saying, like, if you watch the tape, right, that's kind of surface level stuff. If you go back and watch the tape, I mean, we didn't really dominate the line of scrimmage in that Texas game. If you look, I mean, we had a total of 107 rushing yards, but Milroe had 44 of those, right? Whether that was scrambling, I mean, because we didn't really have too many quarterback design runs that game. If I'm remembering correctly, maybe we did, and I'm just forgetting. But I mean, they held Jason only 45 yards, so it's. If you go back and look, I think we started getting our run game going around the third quarter. But anyway, no, I mean we didn't win the line of scrimmage battle in that game. But definitely you're right, penalties and turnovers as well. I'm just saying that same team came and beat us in Tuscaloosa, and that's no easy feat. Like I was here 5 years, and I lost 2014. We lost my redshirt year. We lost to Ole Miss on the road. And then we ended up losing to Ohio State first round in the playoffs. 2015, we lost to Ole Miss in Bryant-Denny Stadium. And then we ran the table, won the national championship. 2016, we went undefeated, never lost until the national championship game, the big play with Hunter Renfrow. 2017, we lost to Auburn on the road at the end of the year, but then won the national championship. So in just those 4 years alone, I had only lost at Bryant-Denny Stadium, was that once to Ole Miss, 2015. And then my senior year ran the table again, but lost in the last game, national championships. That's what I'm saying. Now I think about it, I only lost one time at home in 5 years. Guys, that's nuts. That's crazy. Moral of the story is it's hard to come into Tuscaloosa and get a win. Extremely hard. Isn't that crazy just to think about? Like, let that marinate, guys. Like, I mean, think about the success that this program has had. Not just when I was here during my tenure, but I'm just saying even before, right? 2009, 11, 12. Hell, even, I mean, it's just crazy to think about. I think sometimes we get so comfortable. We're so used to winning. Like, if you take a second to really think about how crazy of a run that Coach Saban had while he was here, insane. Maybe it's just me because I was so used to it. Maybe you guys recognize it, but I feel like now that Coach Saban's gone and I'm really looking back at it, I'm like, that's crazy. Jeff says best noon time show on Bama. Thanks, guys, for the new lunchtime routine. Catch you tomorrow. Appreciate you hanging out with us, Jeff. Chris says I'm not really worried about this season. I think Tyler going to roll big this season. It's 25 season. I'm actually telling us where we got it. Now that's a good point. That's a good point because again, like we talked about earlier, we still have pretty much all these guys from Coach Saban's here. That's why I was saying I think 2025, the recruiting class and moving forward, that's really going to be tough.
Two is on the way here on the Miller's Edge Tide 100.9 1238 in WTC. Corey Miller, Christian Miller, Noah Carter in Tuscaloosa hanging out. Let's go down to the guest phone line as he comes on every single Thursday on a Darius Rucker Thursday hotline. Stephen M. Smith, and M is for master because he is the master of disaster. He is the man that brings all the top news, breaks all the stories. He does it all. The M is capital M, Master Smith. TD, Alabama Magazine, in his own words, Bama Standard, you name it, he's all about it. Stephen M. Smith, welcome to the show.
Doing good, guys. How are we feeling on this very sunshiny, warm day?
I am feeling so blessed and no stress. Blessed and no stress. So
Can't
I'm
beat
trying
that.
to get.
Can't beat that at all.
No, man, we just been, I've been arguing with callers and people on YouTube and all that good stuff about, my allegiance to Kalen DeBoer. We saw him down at Mobile at the Senior Bowl talking to Michael Penix Jr., and I was hoping that he had a chance to go say to, Boingby and Chris Braswell and Will Reichert because he was wearing that A on his coat down there. So do you know, did that happen? I know he took pictures with his guys with the W, but did he take any pictures with the guys with the A?
I think I did see some clips, guys, of him interact with Braswell, interact with Reichert a little bit. I don't know if he interacted with the Boygby, but there were some clips of him being around Reichert, being around Chris Braswell, at least getting that interaction in.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, I was just making the point. I thought he needed to introduce himself, and say hello and all that good stuff. Well, that looks like he did. So kudos to Kalen DeBoer. Let's talk about, up to this point, hadn't been there but a few weeks. We were just having a conversation about, some of the guys that he, Ryan Williams stayed. He got his own guys, a couple of his own guys to come, 3 of them to be exact, incoming freshmen to Austin Mack to the center. But he hasn't really done anything outside of that when it comes to recruiting. Where is he as far as that stands?
Well, right now, he and the rest of the coaching staff, they're on the road. They're hitting the recruiting trail, different schools here within the state of Alabama. And that's a good thing because the last time we spoke about this, not a lot of these young guys at these high schools within the state know who Kalen DeBoer is. So this is very critical that he's getting out there to Enterprise High School. He's getting out to the schools in Mobile. He's getting out to the schools in Montgomery, schools in the Birmingham area. And in this area here in Tuscaloosa, he's making his face and his presence known. And now these guys can understand, okay, Alabama still has that stability, even though Coach Saban is no longer the head coach and operating in that chair, Kalen DeBoer is not allergic to coming to these different high schools within the state and showing us who he is. So right now, he has been reoffering guys that have recently decommitted. Guys like Mason Short, a 4-star offensive lineman for the 2025 class. Bama has reoffered him. Alabama trying to get 5-star wide receiver Jamie French back on board. And I think with DeBoer getting Ryan Williams to recommit, that was huge because Ryan Williams is close friends with Jamie French. So now with French seeing DeBoer getting Williams back, this bodes well for Alabama possibly getting Jamie French back as well. So the big thing with DeBoer, he is at least out there on the recruiting circuit getting guys to see him.
Stephen, as this 2024 second signing day is approaching us, I know we got Ryan Williams. He recommitted. He's going to sign. Is there anybody else that we could expect, maybe a surprise or a guy or two that they're still going after that could potentially sign with Alabama that we might not be expecting? Like I said, I know there's probably a couple guys that still need to sign, but they're committed. Are there any surprise guys or like last minute guys that might potentially be in this 2024 class that we weren't expecting?
I would look at probably Quentin Reese. I look at probably him. He could be a late addition of a young man who earned his award. They're down in the Mobile area for the class 3, 5, or 6A for high school football. So Quentin Reese is a name that I would keep my eyes on there. I know a lot of people are very excited about Noah Carter and what he can bring, what he can add here to this Alabama linebacker core or defensive play where that comes from that standpoint. But Quentin Reese would be a name that I would kind of zero in on as could this be kind of final piece that DeBoer to bring in here.
Stephen F. Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, in his own words, joined us here on the Miller's Edge. Stephen, we were talking earlier. I threw out a question. Will Jalen Milroe be the quarterback for the Crimson Tide in 2024? And the reason why I started to ask that, because I listened to some things that Kalen DeBoer said, one just this week about his infatuation with Austin Mack, a guy that transferred from Washington to Alabama, a guy that I felt like they had no reason bringing in. They let the number one guy in the country in this recruiting class, Julian Sayin, transfer to Ohio State, where he's probably going to have a good chance to play there. But when you listen to what he said about Austin Mack and his ability and how quickly he learned the offense last year, reclassifying and doing all that good stuff, but how good he feels about him being here. And then you look at Milroe, a guy that a lot of people still think does not have the mental capacity to learn this extravagant offense. They feel like, he's kind of a one-trick pony. DeBoer saying, hey, I like to cater my offense around the talent. With all that being said, I just laid out, do you think Milroe will be the quarterback? Do you really believe that DeBoer will bring in an Austin Mack, a guy that's 6'6" and a rocket arm here to Alabama to be the quarterback just in case? Is he like the answer in case Milroe doesn't pick this thing up quick enough?
I think so, Corey. And I look at it like this. It's almost like, remember when you had Jalen Hurts in 2016 and then 2017, here comes Tua Tagovailoa, right? Jalen Hurts was the incumbent starter coming back. He was the guy. He had everybody in the room, had all of the leadership, all of those things. But then here comes Tua, and it's like he's different. The way he throws the ball is different. The way he processes is different. The receivers, at that time, you had Judy and Ruggs and Devontae Smith. They all came in with Tua. And they knew, hey, when this guy throws the ball, we just get excited because we know we're going to have a chance. Nothing against Jalen Hurts, but we see with Tua, there's something different. We're going to actually have a chance to make plays out here on the field. And I kind of see that with Jalen Milroe and Austin Mack here. Jalen Milroe has all of the leadership intangibles. He has all of the quality in the room that you want from a quarterback perspective. But when you look at this offense under Ryan Grubb and under Kalen DeBoer, they want no limitations in the passing game. They want to have a passing game where it's precise, it's anticipation, you're hitting everything, you're mastering not just the deep ball, but the 10 to 15-yard pass passes to either side, those short to intermediate routes. And that was one area of Milroe's game that struggled a bit, was those short to intermediate routes, consistently hitting those and targeting those things and those aspects. So for Milroe, he's going to be challenged to, hey, I got to hit these routes. I got to fend off this talent, but I got to hit these routes. I got to make sure I'm on my A game, because if I'm not, not having Coach Saban as a head coach, Kalen DeBoer is not tied to me as Coach Saban was. So now I got to show this guy that I am the guy for this job. I am the guy for this quarterback, not just from a leadership perspective, but from a pure passing perspective as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think
that's deep right there.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very fair point. Stephen, a lot of people in our YouTube are asking about Justice Haynes and his game. How do you see him taking that next step with this new system, these new coaches? I know Robert Gillespie was retained, so he still got his running back coach, but how do you see him stepping up? You got Roydell Williams, he transferred out to Florida State, obviously. I can't even think of his name right now. Jace McClellan. Thank you, Stephen. Sorry. So many guys in and out. So Jace McClellan's gone. Now a guy like Justice Haynes, Jan Miller, those two guys are going to be your key backs. How do you see Justice Haynes taking that next step this upcoming season?
Well, he's already working, Christian, with his trainer, Marquise Beckwith. They're already back at work. So when I look at Justice Haynes, there's a mixture of running backs with him. You got a little bit of Najee Harris in Justice. You got the size. He's kind of built like a Bo Scarborough type. I know Bo Scarborough has mentioned that he's kind of the mentor in Justice Haynes. But this is a kid that can make a hole when no hole is there. Power between the tackles, physicality between the tackles. We saw that in the Rose Bowl against Michigan. He's got speed to break it to the outside as well, where nobody can catch him. I think in this offense, if Ryan Grubb uses him properly, where he's feeding him the football, he's working him with some passes out the backfield too, he's getting him on runs to the edge, Haynes can eat in this offense. He can really take that step and be that true number one back that he deserves to be, and to show the nation that he is. It comes down to how will Ryan Grubb devise his offense, put together his offense to where not only you want to show the passing side, but the true balance of, hey, when Justice Haynes is hot, feed him. Do not take the ball out that young man's hands, because he is special. He's very special.
Yeah, if one of the negatives I give Tommy Reese or Dick Saban, whomever was making that call by not playing Justice Haynes, that was a problem. Because he was better than the starter, to be honest with you. And the best player was not starting on Saturdays in Tuscaloosa. So I'm looking forward to see what they can do. I know Dylan, who played with Washington, and he had a great year, transfer from Mississippi State. Good kid, but he's not Justice Haynes. Justice Haynes is a bad man. So is Jan Miller. So I think they got two backs that they can do some business with in the running game and in the passing game. What I'm concerned about, Stephen M. I'm a defensive guy. I love football as a whole, but when it comes to defense, man, I am locked in and I'm loaded. I look at two inside linebackers coming back, fine with those guys. I look at the interior with Jaheim Otis, with the guys that got coming back, Tim Smith, I'm fine with those guys, although they need some depth. But, man, at the edge and in the secondary, I'm not going to lie to you. I think they're going to be the demise of this football team unless he makes some huge decisions in the offseason in the portal, because I think this is the area where Bama got to get back to being Bama. They were good enough to be in the national championship last year and win it, but the defense let them down. So my thing is, we talk about Grubb, we talk about Kalen DeBoer, but I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the coordinators. I'm concerned about the players on defense. I don't know and that's probably why I have a lot of negativity, if you want to call it negativity, is because I'm not sure with this defense right now.
It's not necessarily negativity, Corey. It's the concern of when I see it on the field, will it look like something I can be excited about?
Right.
That's the main thing. When I see it on the field, is it going to be something that I can get behind? In the 17 years of Coach Saban, what was the number one thing he said? I want to give you a product, or we want to give you a product that you, the fans, can be proud of. That was the very first thing, or among the first things Coach Saban said when he first came to Tuscaloosa in 2007. And for the most part, Saban delivered on that. Now, in the post-Saban era, you look at the defensive coordinator, Kane Womack, coming over from being the head coach of South Alabama. How is he going to give the Bama Nation a product defensively that fans can look at and say, I want to get behind that? So it's not a negative. It's, I want to save all my reservations too. When I see this thing on the field, this is something I can really get behind. Because I do share your concerns when you look at the secondary. This is going to be a young, these are going to be babies out here. This is going to be a young secondary. Malachi Moore is the only one with legit marquee Bama experience coming back. Now, of course, you got the Damani Jackson kid transferring from USC, but even with him, the jury is still out because he didn't necessarily play a whole lot at USC. So he's coming in to a fresh situation himself. So it's going to be a lot of trial by fire for a lot of these kids. And are they going to be able to withstand the fire? It's a very legit cause for concern. It is.
Yeah. And I think anybody that kind of understands football would know that, you know, when you've got young guys in the secondary, you got to have some help with the pass rush. And I know we've got our defensive linemen. The majority of those guys are coming back, but those are like our interior guys. We lost a lot of production on the edges, and we're still waiting to see kind of who's going to replace that production. So that I agree is kind of concerning to me, just trying to see, all right, how is our pass rush and our youth and our secondary going to come together? I expect them to go through some serious growing pains. I know we got a lot of talent. They're just young. But I know as good as anybody that transitioning from high school to college is no easy task. There's very few guys that can really kind of, you know, make that step very quickly. So we'll see how it plays out. But that is an area of concern for me as well.
It is, Christian. And, of course, you know, you're going to have a lot of expectations put on guys like Keon Keeley, right? Came out of high school, big-time five-star. You know, he chose Will Anderson's number to be his number 31. Going to be a lot of things on Keon Keeley. Are you the guy? There's going to be questions about Yancey Pierre, who's Courtney Upshaw's cousin. He came over from Eufaula High School. Is he going to be that guy? Bring back Quindarius Robinson for another year. He came as a five-star in the 2020 class. Is it going to be his time to step up? There are unknowns there in that edge rusher perspective, but who's going to be the guy to really sort of take that mantle and be like, I will take some pressure here off the secondary. I will help out the interior defensive line. Who becomes those legit edge rushers you can depend on? That's gonna be a question we're gonna have to find out soon.
Yeah, final question. Stephen M. Smith, in his own words, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, joins us here on the program, which he does every single Thursday. Before we let you go, man, listen, and we know how the big question is recruiting. You know, everybody's going to ask, you know, can this guy get it done? It's the Southeast. It's not Pacific Northwest. It's not the Pac-12. You know, you're going up against dogs here, buddy. I mean, you're going up against dogs. You're going up against a lot of money that's been doing football for a long time. Can Kalen DeBoer, you know, get it done is the biggest question. But they've hired a director of player personnel. Then they hired an assistant from NC State. Then you got a general manager. It's just unbelievable now. We call him college. You know, I know about it in the pros, but now we got college general managers like in Morgan for Alabama. You know, what do they get done? Is anybody that we need to look for that maybe they might steal some folk, or any news out there they might make some things popping out here that we're going to be like, yes, sir, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm waiting on.
What happened to Michigan? I thought they were supposed to have this big.
I told you Michigan won't lose their guys.
Yeah,
I told you
I haven't really heard much about them.
They ain't going nowhere.
I mean, when I look at this, it's really going to come down to when the portal reopens, because there's no news right now. But when the portal reopens April 15th, that will be my focus, right? Mm-hmm. When that portal reopens April 15th, that's where I want to see a Courtney Morgan, a coach Jatarvis Sanders. This is where I want to see those guys that have been specifically hired for recruiting go to work, because you've got 79 names on your scholarship roster right now. You need 85. You are 6 kids short. So when that portal reopens on April 15th, that's where my eyeballs will be. That's a Monday. That's where my eyeballs will be on how will these guys go to work and get those 6 kids that are going to fit what you want to get done and continue in the standards of this program.
Well, you got 6, but you know there's going to be some other transfers out of here too. Some of them they're going.
True.
Yeah, some of them going to be like, hey, Steve, you think you can do the same amount of production at a group of 5 school or FCS? You know that's going to happen, right? Because they're going to be some guys that he ain't going to want. After spring practice, he's going to be like, we need to figure out a way to break this marriage and get some. So we need about at least 10 to 12 portal guys. That's what I think they're leaning towards.
I mean, 10 to 12 to me, numbers, a firm number. My main thing is you get the guys out there that can really do something, because you got people that get in the portal and you got some that miss in the portal. So when you go to the portal, it's second-hand recruiting. When you go to that portal, you got to look and say, are these kids we're going to bring in all these kids for our program to where we can count on them, we can depend on them, and they actually add value?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Better get that. I mean, y'all join. Yay, Alabama. We need the money because you got to be ready to go in the portal. You got to be ready to pay. Sign the check. Let's go. Stephen Smith in his own words, Bama standard touchdown Alabama magazine. You can catch it on the Twitter machine or the X, breaking right with stories, falls Alabama closer than anybody. We totally appreciate having him and his energy here with us on Thursday. Stephen, man, we love you. We appreciate you, brother. And I know you're going to continue to bring that heat.
Absolutely, guys. Hey, the next time I'm on here next Thursday, it means something different to fans out there. Next Thursday.
I know what it means for you, and I know what it means for Bama. Money. Stephen, money. Smith.
Oh, man.
All right, brother.
Boy. Take it easy, guys.
All right, that's Stephen Smith. There you go. All right, we're going to break. We'd love to hear from you. You preached a great sermon. You have to do the sermon. You're open. Give people a chance to respond. What say you? Stephen Smith. 205-329-904 Taiwan, 9:30 a.m. WTBC. Quick timeout. We'll hear from you on the flip. Back in a moment.
Tia says, if the defense sucks, DC will be fired next year. I'm not worried. We'll see. I mean, I know they're pretty tight. They were together, but I think he knows expectations. Yeah, and if the defense isn't impressive enough or up to that standard, I wouldn't be shocked if there's some changes. Because, again, I mean, you look at it, offensively, they brought their guys from Washington. They were extremely productive. Can't argue that. So, like my dad's been saying, I agree with them. I'm not worried about the offense, honestly. I think the offense will take a step this year, honestly. Defensively, though, I think taking a step back is almost inevitable, right? I mean, just losing the talent, not just guys from the transfer portal, but even in the draft. I mean, again, those 2 edge guys were so productive. Both guys nearing double-digit sacks out of Dallas Turner, Chris Braswell. Your interior guys are still there, but again, there's just not really anybody with that experience. I wouldn't be shocked. I said it the other day, and I said again, I think Quay Rousseau is a guy to step up. I know a lot of people are excited about Keon. I think he definitely could. But I know at least last year, or even towards the end of last year, Quay Rousseau was kind of, separating himself out of the young edge guys. I'm about to post Stephen M. Smith's Paul Tyson film breakdown. Come on, man. Look, you can't get them all right? I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you I'm not great at predicting stuff. That's why I try to just lay out the facts and kind of, just navigate that away. Genevieve says, great interview. Simply love Stephen M. Smith with TDA. Yeah, man, he's awesome, man. Stephen's great, man. I know some of y'all give him a hard time about that breakdown, but he does a really good job, with his articles and always great to have him on. We're really appreciative of him. Genevieve, I got to bring up that point. We kind of talked about your Super Chat question in terms of kind of the Austin Mack almost being like the Tyler Buckner I think my dad actually asked Stephen a very similar question, but I can try to bring it back up for you. Yeah, I got this pulled up. I found it on Twitter. I can't remember who had tweeted. I'll zoom out in a second. But yeah, that's who you got right now returning at least. Again, a guy like Tim Smith, Tim Keenan, right? Damon Payne, James Smith, all those guys that saw time last season, they're all back, right? Jamarian Latham, then you bring in LT Overton. So interior defensive line. I mean, those tackles and noses and big ends, right? You got plenty of those guys with experience. And then the edge room is loaded. It's just so much youth. But again, that's not meaning that those guys can't step up or be productive. It's just more so that it's not like you have a solid option where you're like, hey, we're going to put this guy in here. We know what we're getting, right? Just a little more of a question mark. But middle linebacker position, I mean, you're set there. But then secondary, man, it's a lot of youth. But I'm telling you, cornerback is a position I think they'll get somebody from the portal in April.
Boy, that's actually from Rudy the Blowfish, 1990. Oh, let's see. I was in the league when that song came out. So I'm on David Letterman. It might have been 1991. Where Rudy brought that song out. Let Her Cry. That thing still sounds good even today. 205-342-9904. Don't forget Ty 100.9. Free download. And the message all coming there on that app. Laura Carter. We'll definitely read those things for you right there. Let's go back out to the phone line. We'll take it to the people. Let's see here. Ellis. Let's talk with my man Ellis. What's up, Ellis?
Roll Cowboys, gentlemen.
Roll Tide. How you doing?
Oh, I had my doubts last night, y'all.
Yeah, what was that?
I had my doubts last night on that
The
ball
basketball
game.
game.
Oh man.
Woo, Lord,
Man.
yeah.
That was crazy, bro.
Man, I'd say anything in the world been there and seen that. That would have been amazing to see that live. Yeah, yeah.
You heard me. Radio call was probably incredible.
I would have loved to be able to listen to him because I've listened to him before, and yeah, he really puts his heart into it when he calls a game.
Oh, for sure.
And games like that just makes it even better, So you're all energized. But, yeah,
But this
man, my man,
basketball team, Ellis, is kind of just hard to figure out, man. I mean, we know they're crazy talented, and they are a team of bronze, right? I mean, Alabama's type of team. We talk about them in South Carolina. They end up not, but in the first half, a very close game. But then they got hot, and then things changed. Kind of the same thing with Georgia last season. Georgia had Tennessee kind of like this too on the road, lost that game. But I mean, this team has talent, but they got to figure out how to play defense and do it consistently, right? Because they're not going to be able to go but so far. They're going to be a tournament team. They're going to make a run to the SEC tournament. But man, this team better find out how to play some defense because if they don't, I don't think this team is destined to go too far.
it'll get them in trouble in the long run when they keep going like you said. It'll get them in trouble. But I have to say, my man Marcus
Sears, he's still my favorite on the team. You know, yeah.
Good for him, man. 'Cause I know he's gonna have a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah, and then Grant Nelson, he had two 3-pointers, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he had that second one was kind of like sealed the deal.
But did you get to watch any of the game, Christian?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking right now to you.
Okay. Did you see Marcus Sears when he was talking to that Georgia player had his shirt over his mouth?
I did. I saw that.
He was doing some good trash talking right there, wasn't he?
You think he was cussing?
Probably so.
Well, it's all right. It's all about him. It's fun doing that. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
I do the same thing.
That's
But
right.
what y'all was talking about yesterday about our football coach, Caleb DeBoer needed to talk to the Alabama players that's down there at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, he did end up talking to them, didn't he? I thought he did.
I think that's
Yeah,
what
we had
Steve said.
Stephen Smith said that he saw some pictures out there on X that they were having, maybe not at Boingby, but for sure Chris Braswell and Will Riker, that he had a chance to talk with them. And I hope that's the case. That's all I was just saying yesterday. That needed to be done, because it's just a matter of respect. You know what I mean? Hey, respect for who they played for, respect for the program that they played for and what they're doing right now. And that's all. And I think he did that, which is a hand clap for me.
Yeah. And then what you was talking about, your Gamecocks are beating the Vols up there in basketball.
Yeah, Lamont Paris, I'm telling you, man, we'll have him on the show here soon. I sent a message out on X to Ray Tanner, our athletics director, to get the money truck and go ahead and get it done, because you can't wait, right? I mean, because the team's going to come after him. There's going to be blue blood programs open up. People are going to get fired. And Lamont Pierce is going to be at the top of the list because he's done it at UT Chattanooga. He's come to South Carolina, very distraught program, had no players last year, weren't good, but they beat Kentucky, by the way. For those that don't remember, they went to Rupp Arena last year and beat Kentucky, and then beat them again this year at home, blow them out by 17 points. So I know Kentucky just lost again last night. But this team he has in South Carolina, they do what I was just saying, the opposite of Alabama. They play great defense, and they can knock down shots, knock down the threes when they need to. So a good team that's not a very big team, but they like to play small ball. And, man, they run you, they pick and pop. Just a very sound, well-coached, well-teached basketball team.
Well, I was glad that they beat the Vols. I don't like the Vols.
Yeah, we don't like Tennessee, do we? Good old Rocky Top. Christian doesn't like when I roll my Rocky Top.
Well, I mean, because we're not speaking Spanish. I mean, if you want to speak Spanish, I can speak a little Spanish.
I don't know why he don't like that, Ellis, when I roll it. Rocky Top.
I am thinking about coming down this weekend and going to the basketball game this weekend.
Mississippi State.
There you go.
That's going to be a good game.
Yes.
That's going to be a good game. Mm-hmm.
And I might have to stop by the place that you need to stop by if you need Alabama gear, and that is Alumni
Where's that?
Hall.
Oh,
that's
Alumni Hall.
Good old Alumni Hall. That's right, over in Midtown
In
Village.
Midtown Village.
You heard the man himself. Ellis just said, if you need any Crimson Tide apparel, officially licensed, the latest and greatest officially licensed Alabama gear, head on over to Alumni Hall to get your hoodies. I don't know, though. I mean, the weather's starting to warm up, so you might need some T-shirts or some shorts, but head on over to Alumni Hall right now. Or you can always go to alumnihall.com, get a 2-for-30 deal with tees. All types of deals right there at alumnihall.com for the ultimate Crimson Tide fan shop.
Well, when you leave there, Ellis, I need you to go over to 2706th Street and go see my good friend Reagan and Randy at R&R Cigars. You may not even smoke. And if you do, great selection. Humidor, one of the best in the Southeast. Go check those guys out. If you drink, I don't know if you drink or not. If you do, if you like bourbon, they got the best bourbons in town. Of course, any other grown man alcoholic drink that you want to have. By the way, drink responsibly. We preach that to you. You're going to be on the porch, feel the weather. What a great spring, nice day this weekend. Looks like you can hang out on the porch. Or sitting one of the many lounges that they have in the mansion, recliners, basketball games over there at R&R Cigar. Check them out online, www.rnrcigars.com. They ship using that code word, the Miller's Edge, and they'll take care of it for you. So, just ride by if you don't do anything. Just look at the map.
I've been there before, and it is a beautiful place.
Yeah, I think the anniversary is going on this week. Yeah, they got the anniversary right outside the parking lot. And food, they have all that good stuff for the anniversary. It's a fun time. They give people reggae, man. They got a little newborn baby. We got Raina over there. She's almost 2, I think. Newborn. They rolled up, man. Go pick them up. Well, I saw you in the woods again today. I saw a picture of you in the woods again.
Yes, I was real high up on the mountain right there. And of course, I seen about another 15 or 20 turkeys too. I always do. Good show again today, fellas, like always, and we will talk to y'all tomorrow.
What about a big roll tide, Lee? What a big roll tide.
Roll tide!
Roll tide, Ellis. Be safe out there, no mountains. We got to get a break here. My man Noah Carter, football player. The producer said break. We'll be back.
Yeah, he definitely loves some Hootie and the Blowfish. Those are like his good friends. He's like best friends with Darius and those guys. They went to college together, and he used to be on tour with them. So they go way back. All right, G-Bam, appreciate you hanging out with us, man. Brian said he wants some wagon wheel. I wonder if we played that already. We could probably play it again. Problem is I got it muted on here, though, because of the copyright, unfortunately. But if you download that Tide 100.9 app, you can hear all the music, all that good stuff there. It's just on here, I got to be careful with all the copyright stuff. Let's see. Hope Deontay Lawson is healthy this year, bro. Moves like a turtle in coverage. I think he was a little banged up. I want to say he came into the year with the knee. I think he had I ain't trying to tell all his business, but I think he had a knee injury. Yeah, YouTube's so sensitive about the copyright stuff. I would love to just put up. I remember on one of our streams that I was trying to break down film for you guys during the season, and it just gets copyrighted every time. So if you guys know how to pull up tape, I feel like if we had the all 22 angles, that's not like a CBS or ESPN or any of that, those big networks, I think we could probably do it. Because I like having the tape that way I can show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes it gets Tia said you need the all 22 film. Yeah, I just got to find a way to stream it. I just was putting it on here from YouTube stuff. But if they don't copyright it, then I'll just find a way to get it on here. Because I feel like it's a lot easier for me to just show you guys what we're talking about, when we're describing stuff on defense. Sometimes it's kind of hard, just when we're rambling a bunch of different things.
We normally like to win. They like that song, Chris.
Love it. Great song. Were you trying to be like offbeat, or like you were trying to do it, right? Or you just?
I was actually typing somebody. I was kind of like just in the background. Hit that 700. Got a truck out of the city, had a nice long tour. When he was heading west from the Cumberland Gap to Johnson City, Tennessee.
On the wrong state. Head over to the bear.
What's that? What's the bear?
It's
95.3 today. And we've been on the bear all football season. We did the pregame show.
We did the pregame show on both. But that was good. I'm glad you said Brian. Obviously, the copyright stuff, can't really do it. So you just think it for them, which is good. But again, you guys can always watch us, see us do the show live on Instagram.
Not me today, though.
Yeah, you have to look up the difficulty. But no worries, they got me, and I'm doing a nice little presentation thing with different slides and stuff up there, trying to make it a little more interactive. But always download the Top 100.9 app. You can listen to the show there. You can dial us immediately from the app or leave your app messages there as well. So I just want to get a shout out to our business sponsor, the Good Feet Store. You guys know the drill. If you're inside pain, foot pain, knee pain, or back pain, head on over to the Good Feet Store right now, or goodfeet.com to get employment. Again, that's Good Feet, improving the quality of people's lives, 2 feet at a time. So,
okay,
I was about to say, we do need
Macamiro. I got a lot of interaction on my X. I'm not even seeing
just heads up, we're going to have to go to break again in like 3 or 4 minutes. So
okay,
go ahead.
Thank you, Steve. They were on Stephen and Smith by what he said about Taylor Miller. So you said you saw him talking about last year about Miller. They posted a video.
Wait, I thought they were saying no, they're talking about Paul Tyson.
They said, listen to Coach Smith give his quarterback.
I don't think you were paying attention. It says he's talking about.
I didn't watch the video.
So all I did pay attention about something you don't even know what it is.
Well, because it's I'd rather eat rocks and take his quarterback.
It's an old guy. See, why do you have to throw Stephen like that, man? I was trying to protect him from that, man. See, that's
radio.
I know it's radio, but they were doing that kind of getting on because it was a take about Paul Tyson. I think he really was building Paul Tyson up. If I remember this correctly, he was kind of building him up. But you got to again, like everybody gets every projection, right? There's a lot of people that.
No, Ted told me to watch the video. I ain't got time to go.
Anyway, so that's what that was. So you said he was right? So you might need to believe that because.
Oh, that's why she told me to say, yeah. I thought because that's why she didn't put that. He wasn't even talking about who cares about Paul Tyson, but it's that something, right?
Listen, dude, you're stuck in your ways again. She's saying he was wrong about that tape. That's what
I know.
she's saying.
I mean, exactly. I mean, listen.
She wants to play a video. I'd have to send it to Noah. I'll send it to Noah and we can play it. I don't want to throw our man Stephen under the bus like that, right?
Because Stephen got me, Tia is hating right now. She hating along with these other folks because, listen, don't mean that you're, I mean, listen, Paul Tyson, wasn't he Bear Bryant's grandson or something like that?
Yeah.
So, some kind of relationship, right? So he's probably giving him the benefit of the doubt, okay? Let's hit a break. Quick break because we got to get back on the schedule.
Watch the video during the break.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll let Mr. Rogers set it up. I mean, do we even need to play it in that series? We'll be back in a moment.
Tia, that's messed up, man. Why you gotta come on? That's our guy. Come on, man. This is great radio. No, that's man. You just set my dad up. Let's see. Knowing his ass does not pay attention to stuff or not. I mean, he's over here talking. So, he was right. One doesn't even know what he's talking about. If anything, you did just prove my dad is just be talking outside of his neck sometimes. So. That's funny. Here, let me play it right here real quick. Let me see. Let me play it right here. Let me see if I remember it. Let me say I know, right? Oh, it's 2 minutes.
Watch the film. I know I'm not the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA. That's Justin Smith, who does an unbelievable job. But I break down quite a bit of NFL quarterbacks immediately hit my mind. Call me crazy, call me a conspiracy theorist, call me Steve, you don't know what you're talking
Y'all are
about.
wild,
But I
man.
break down the film. I take it frame by frame, bit by bit, piece by piece. So check this out. These are the 4 quarterbacks I see in Paul Tyson's game right now in the NFL. Number 1, as far as the size, he's Ben Roethlisberger. At 6'5",
All right, look.
245
Hold on,
pounds.
I'll let it.
Paul Tyson resembles, Ben Roethlisberger.
No, but listen though, he's saying what he sees in him. So he's saying like the size of a guy like Ben Roethlisberger.
In terms of his footwork, maneuvering in the pocket, climbing the pocket, being able to, keep himself on schedule in terms of the feet. He's Big Ben in his prime. There's also a little bit of Aaron Rodgers there.
Whoa.
In terms of the footwork. Arm talent, when you discuss arm strength, accuracy, precision, ball placement, anticipation, touch on the ball.
Yeah, Brian, it's because we're streaming the radio show through here. So sometimes the connection, I think, when it goes down, the audio is like that. You know what I mean? So I can't control that. I think that's the connection that kind of makes it. Hopefully it clears up. But the reason you hear me now is because now I'm using my computer mic, if that makes sense.
Philip Rivers. And
I mean, he did look. That'd be a hell of a football player. I mean, size of Ben Roethlisberger, footwork, and ability of Aaron Rodgers, and who did he throw in there? Philip Rivers too. Look, man, he just excited, man. Look, like
because he models his game after
he built a demigod. Sorry, hold on one second. They're playing the clip of my dad singing, and I don't think you want to hear it. See, Willie's in here. What's up, Willie? Excuse me. He forgot Michael Vick. Y'all are wild, man. That's my guy, man. I love Steven, man. Great dude. Sorry, I'm just waiting for this clip of my dad singing to be done. All
right. Chris, do you know who that was?
I do, and I was waiting till the end of the clip. I was talking with our YouTube chat in the meantime.
Yeah, that was so people that didn't know, I toured with Hootie for about a year, so I've been on in front of thousands singing the lead. Then some backup songs of Darius Rucker and his R&B album. So that's another little tidbit y'all didn't know about the Pastor Pay. That was back in the early 2000s, by the way, like 2003. Well, some good times. All right, 205-342-9904. I thought I'd let you hear me live and in living color. Let's go to the best reader in all of Alabama as he goes to Tide 100.9 app, Mr. Noah Rogers. Take it away.
That's right. We got a message from Rick in Ackworth. He says, Corey and Christian, think about this. Sark and staff definitely outcoached Bama in Tuscaloosa, right? Then didn't DeBoer and staff outcoach Sark in the Sugar Bowl? What do you think?
Well, that's kind of what I was just saying. And I'm not saying going off if you go off that metric, then technically you would say DeBoer is better than both Sark and Saban. I get what he's saying, though. What I'm saying is I at least give credit. And I was making that same point, was just like, I get the Pac-12 is not the most impressive conference. Like, we all know that. But
it's called a Pac-2 now.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of dissolved, right? It imploded, whatever's left of it. But I'm just saying, that you gotta show respect where they did face a team like Texas that was very talented up front in the trenches, right? We saw how Texas beat us in Tuscaloosa. You just gotta respect that, and that's all I was saying. So, but like I said, I mean, look, right now is a time where there's not a whole bunch going on, so it's time to kind of throw these shock jock questions out there, kind of stir up the pot, get some reactions. But no, with all that being said, no, I mean. I don't know how many times we can say this around. I mean,
are we team Kalen DeBoer? I would say we're team Kalen DeBoer.
Is that even a question? Like, yeah. I mean, what do you mean? Are we?
Yeah, they're asking us like we don't think that.
Wait, did somebody ask you
coach?
that?
I'm not saying that. No, I'm just saying, but based on what he's saying, I mean, listen, I'm not comparing Kalen DeBoer to Steve Sarkisian.
I'll be honest. If I'm listening to the show, I wouldn't be I think it's a fair question to ask you, just because sometimes how it sounds. I know that we are. I definitely know that I am. I think very highly of him. I like how he's gone about things. Now, just real quick, I'll say
I think very highly of him as a person. I think very highly of him what he has accomplished up to this point.
Yeah,
I think Kalen DeBoer just has a lot still to prove. That's all I'm saying. I'm not ready, as Bill Parcells said about Tony Romo years when he first got the Cowboys gig, and people, he said, we're so fast, and then we're so fast, so quick to tear people down. That's what we do, right? We put them up there. We make these comparisons. We go find anything on social media, on the World Wide Web, support your argument. That's what you do. And then he won this game, so he must be better. All these other coaches better than Nick Saban that he lost to. Was he free 2 years in a row? I guess he's better than Nick Saban twice in a row. I guess Gus Malzahn beat him probably more than anybody else. He's better than Nick Saban. You can't justify that. I mean, we don't know how the game. We don't even know who played, who was hurt, this, that, and that. Yeah, you can use that to support an argument, absolutely. But it don't mean that it's factual. I'm just saying, my whole stance on Kevin DeBoer, I'm not too worried about the other. I think he's a great offensive coordinator. That told me a lot more about him than Kevin DeBoer, just because they said to himself, try to hire you, right? That lets me know that when the coach tried to hire you, he thought enough of you, and that told me that he respected a lot of respect. I'm good with that. Now, I don't know if it's going to be Miro or Matt. That's what we're going to play with tomorrow, Miro or Matt. Miro or Matt. Because I do think Miro is.
Well, I mean, I thought we couldn't get that today.
I know, but I still think a lot of people want to talk about it because it's an interesting piece based on his comments about Matt. I think he's got a thing.
I won't read into it that deep. I genuinely think it's.
I mean, the man basically kicked out the number one overall quarterback from Matt. That's basically what you did.
No, we confirmed.
That's it. We don't want.
No, you're right. Initially, I was saying, well, we don't know. Julian Sam might have been playing on this. From everybody that I've spoken to, players, coaches, no, I mean, Julian Sam was playing on the team.
He chose Matt.
Yeah, and then Matt. So, but again, we'll see how that plays out. Obviously, he thinks Matt is a good fit for his system. But again, 2 or 3 years.
If Julian Sam is not a fit for his system, then what is Jalen Miro?
I think you just got to work with what you got for this first year. That's what I think. Look, 2025 to me is where we'll get real. Just like you said yesterday, I think the first year, I wouldn't necessarily just a mulligan, but let's just be honest. In the first year, even Coach Saban's first year, so for recruiting, for results, I generally think the first year, I don't know how much substance it has. I think 2025 will be realistically when we finally can kind of start actually assessing, reflecting, and actually assessing.
All right, for the great show. Thank everybody. Thank all you on YouTube extra. Sorry, I couldn't do it for the second hour. My computer died. Appreciate it, Mr. Noah Carter, the edge rusher. Just extraordinary. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless you. Bye-bye now, y'all. It's time.